Welcome to the Bull and Bear Show, episode number 17, with my many co-hosts and guests. How you guys all doing today?
Doing well,
Pretty
doing
good. How
well.
are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. We have Blaze just joined us too. Welcome, Blaze. So we got everybody
What's up?
here.
Just trying to set up.
Hey, no problem, no problem. So lots of great guests. I want to introduce all of you guys. We've got King Earl from Alabama. We got Shady from Nashville, Tennessee. We got Nash Cowboy from Nashville, Tennessee. We got Market Maverick from Calgary, Alberta. And we got Blaze from Florida. And we got a great show today with lots and lots of topics. And let's get it started with our very first topic, which is this right here. All right. So our first topic is that the U.S. Federal Reserve is likely to pause rate hikes despite higher inflation. So we're going to start with you, King Earl. What do you think about this news?
Echo. I think it's wonderful news because, as they continue to have the high inflation rates, we're going to continue to pay back Americans for those bonds they hold. But just going to continue to bite them because it's not going to help the debt ceiling any at all because the people actually getting paid the higher interest rates are the people they borrowed the money from. And I have a high feeling that those people are taking that money and directly reinvesting it back into either bonds or the market.
Okay.
So I'm very glad that they're going to keep them the same or keep them high at least. And our GDP will continue to grow and will outproduce more countries with our dollar. So, I mean, that's what it's going to come down to. We got to continue to strive until our economy fully recovers, and then put it in full effect before we start dropping the prices.
Okay. I think that's a very good point right there. Shady.
Make sure everybody mutes when somebody's talking, so the rest of us mute for now.
Yeah, maybe everyone should just unmute and just unmute when you speak, and maybe just stay muted when you're not talking. Shady, what do you think about this? Is the Fed going to pause on rates?
From what I've seen, like from what I've been reading up on it, it looks like it. But as we know, like there's always like ulterior motives for everything that happens. I haven't really gotten enough information on it, so I'm probably going to pass on this subject just because I need to dive a little bit deeper.
Hey, no problem. Nash Cowboy, what do you think?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you, buddy.
I'm on the conspiracy side of it. I think it's smoke and mirrors just to calm people down. I mean, everybody's struggling, and I think it's just setting up for more if they actually pause the rates. I just think they're gonna do what's in their best interest, not our best interest. I think we're due for some more rate hikes, even if they pause it this once. I think they'll go up more.
Man, I hope you're wrong there. I hope they don't keep raising rates. Okay, we'll go to Market Maverick. What do you think about this?
I was reading about it, and they say September 20 is when they plan to pause, right? But the data is showing from the Federal Reserve, it's basically showing that they don't plan to pause anytime soon. They can't they're just saying that there's going to be one more final hike. And actually, I was reading earlier, it said that forecast for the Fed's new forecast is one more rate hike to go. So even though they're saying they're going to pause it, they're not giving us a timeline. They're saying September 20. Maybe they mean 2025.
Yeah.
Because I don't think anything good is going to happen for 2023 with elections coming up and Ukraine and just so much political problems with financial sanctions and new financial transitions. Everything's happening at the same time with the debt ceiling raised 3 days before. What kind of government entities are we dealing with here? Where would you wait 3 days before your kids go hungry?
No, of course not.
So why are they doing it to a government, to a whole country? It doesn't make sense to me what's going on here, and something fishy's going on. That's all I gotta say.
I agree with you. There's definitely something fishy going on. That's for sure.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. Let's go to you, Blaze. What do you think about this?
I think it's gonna go with one more raise at least. I still think we're gonna get raised. I don't think they're gonna slow down on us until they crack us. Unfortunately, that's what I believe. I hope it goes the other way.
Wow.
It's all about greed, bro. It's just control, making us beg to get help from them, you know?
I agree with you 100%. I actually
They're
feel
trying
like
to put us in a position where we're in a chokehold, and it's like, geez, you know, the government's going to be like, oh, we'll help you out with your own money, but we're going to keep on taking it. You know, so this is what's going on. It's a mess.
See, the problem that I have is that the Fed has said in Canada and the United States that they want inflation at 2%. The only way they can get inflation to go down is by raising rates. So if they don't raise rates today or next month or the month after, they're going to have to raise them eventually. So they're going to raise rates. It's not even a matter of if, it's more a matter of when. Now, they might pause because everyone's struggling and everyone's complaining and elections are coming and they want votes. So they might have to pause for a short period of time. But eventually, if they truly do want to get at the 2% number, they're going to have to raise rates. It's the only way they can do it. So
Yep,
do you guys
that's
agree with
it.
me or disagree with me with that?
And they got to
statement?
get it done before the next election, because if Trump gets back in, he's going to shut everything down.
I think if they just burnt the U.S. dollar, they would
They really don't
up
want
the
Trump.
scarcity like they do in crypto, and you know, the overall value of the dollar would actually go up, and we wouldn't have to raise interest rates if they just actually, when they got the dollar, just don't spend it. You know, that might help.
Yeah, you're right.
From
I
what I
agree.
was looking at, it was like somewhere close to 150 trillion something dollars in assets that they basically don't have. So right now we're back on $5 trillion worth of assets, but we're 150 something trillion dollars in debt. It's just such a far number that if they don't do another hike, then there's really no other choice. That's just my opinion on it from what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. So let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic is that the former Ripple General Counsel Norman Reed is now the CEO of Binance US. So King Earl, what do you think about this news?
Hallelujah. Because the key word missing in that is not just formal Ripple, the former SEC.
So do you think this is going to mean that it's going to open up the doors for Ripple at the Securities and Exchange Commission because of the relationship?
Not only that, but it's going to be a big battle now because they're not just focusing on a foreign entity, right? Now they're looking at somebody who actually worked for the SEC, and it's going to be the SEC versus the old SEC, right? And maybe we'll finally get some regulatory power in there and somebody with some common sense to speak what's actually going to happen. And they can actually start working up the food chain, with Binance being the largest exchange in the world right now with the most power. I think it's going to be great, you know, not only for Ripple, but for all crypto across the board.
Okay, that's good news. Shady, you have an opinion on this?
I think competition kind of gets us to where we don't get into a monopolized state, and having someone that's been on the other side move to a different company, I think kind of alleviates a lot of the monopoly forms that Earl was just talking about. I think that him going over to Ripple, I think that's a great thing. I think it's going to create more competition. It's going to open up doors.
Okay, very good. Nash Cowboy, what's your opinion on this?
I think it was an absolute genius move. Because to me, it's like giving the SEC the middle finger, right? they're like saying, okay, now we're holding some stronger chips here. He knows the ins and outs, and it was absolutely genius strategy, genius marketing. And I think it'll make great moves in the whole crypto industry, and Binance leading the way yet again.
Wow. Okay. So this is everyone so far thinks this is really good news. So I want to hear from you, Market Maverick. You are like Mr. XRP. What do you think about this news, my friend?
You know, he is a former Ripple counsel. He's not at Ripple right now. I'm not sure if he is. I haven't looked into that. But when I see former or ex, that's a sign that they're not currently there. But it's still a good sign. It's a positive sign for Ripple's expansion. I believe their name being integrated into US Binance is a very good sign for Ripple just in advertising alone. But the Ripple's lawyers that are fighting the SEC, John Deaton said it is a positive sign, but he does have some worries. Same with attorney Jeremy Hogan. He stated, appointing your general counsel as your CEO does not seem like a growth play. And John Deaton stated, noting that the move could be seen more as a survival tactic for the exchange than a growth strategy. Because Binance had hundreds of layoffs, including what's his name, Brian Schroeder, the CEO. He left the company, and a big amount of the workforce left, and they were getting pressured by not only the SEC but the CFTC as well, the Commodities and Futures Trading. So hopefully, Ripple's former counsel can keep them in play with regulatory bodies and keep them up to date, because John Deaton also said, sorry to take the spotlight on this, but John Deaton also said he's maintained that the SEC and the US government knew more about Ripple than any other company involved in crypto, because honestly, Bitcoin doesn't have a company involved in it. So it's hard to know anything about who's running the show there. But he suggests that Reed's expertise, that's who is now taking CEO position, is Norman Reed. And his expertise could benefit the U.S. Binance as it navigates multiple lawsuits and a regulatory quagmire. That's where he says it believes it could be a positive sign, but he says it's a survival tactic and not a growth play. So I'm 50-50 on it. I think it will survive, but I'm still 50-50.
Okay. All right, Blaze, what's your opinion on this news?
It's simple. It's right there. I mean, SEC, Ripple, and now Binance. It's a tactical move for Binance. So he knows how far you can push the SEC. He knows the limits. He knows the ins and outs of that, right? Him being with Ripple has nothing to do, no benefit at all for Binance. It's the SEC thing. So it's a tactical move in my point. At the end of the day, it's kind of desperate, but it may work out. That's my opinion.
Okay. So let's get on to the new topic here. The next topic here is Binance CEO responds to rumors, says U.S. executive is taking a deserved break. So essentially, this is the news regarding the fact that they had to remove Brian Schroeder, which some of you guys mentioned, resigning as the CEO of the exchange's U.S. wing. What do you think about this, King Earl?
I think it's a great step. Like we were saying that, the SEC was complaining that they weren't cooperating with the SEC as far as their investigation and giving them the ins and outs of the company. So if you're going to make complaints against the guy, remove it and place another guy from the SEC into that position. They said he needed a well-deserved break, and I mean, he does. But as far as it being a tactical move, I mean, it's 1,000% completely true. If you can't beat them, join them. Or in this case, if you can't beat them, hire them. Because he's going to make a lot more money working for them than he did the SEC, and that's always the thing that the Binance has faced. Is that even during this last bear season, they were saying, "Hey, we're not laying people off. We're not laying people off." Even during the bear season, we're surviving and thriving. Well, now it's caught up to them. They're laying people off, sending them home, and making up their money here during the bull market coming up. But then also, they have to fight this regulatory battle, and it's going to be a great thing. And maybe that guy goes over to Ripple and helps them. I don't know what his next step will be, but maybe he's seeking a position within the SEC to get his feet wet. You never know.
Okay, Shady, what's your opinion on this?
I think that anytime you're having someone manage a company and they're just not giving out enough information or not basically managing their market as good as they could be, I think that you do have to replace them. because it doesn't make money. It doesn't make sense, right? I don't know very much about this particular topic, but from what I keep hearing about it, I think it's a good move. I actually trust Earl's judgment on that. Just the way he was describing it, I would agree 100%.
Okay, very good, very good. And Nash Cowboy, what do you think about this move?
Well, there's different aspects. So first, you got to look at, most big corporations don't keep CEOs very long anyway. They tend to fluctuate like a maximum of 3 years. Some of them in 6 months or less. A lot of companies do that, especially in like the medical industry. I don't think it was. I do think it was strategic though, for the whole bringing in the other guy. And yeah, I think it will help them in the long run. It gives them an edge. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, Mark and Maverick, what's your opinion on this?
Rich, repeat that question again. It glitched out on me.
So the question is, the Binance CEO responds to rumors saying that U.S. executive is taking a deserved break because Brian Schroeder resigned as the CEO of Binance USA. So my question is, do you guys think this was a good move? Do you think this is a bad move? And why do you think this happened?
Is it
Mark
me?
and Maverick, what do you think?
Personally, I think there's two sides of the media that people watch. Whether you're watching Fox or CNN, you're getting a different story, and this just creates. It doesn't create fear on one side, but it creates fear on the other, and it keeps market trends volatile. That's what the media does. It attacks and it keeps alive. The media likes to play God.
Facts.
Okay, Blaze, what's your opinion on this news?
I think every time the business goes bad or if a big business is getting looked at, the CEO is always flipped. In this case, it looks like another CEO flipped to me, something common. I don't see it doing anything for any business at this point. It's just another CEO. It's a tactical move once again, and we'll see if the numbers go up. I'm a believer in seeing the numbers go up before talking about them at this point.
I'm going to tell you guys my opinion on this is that Binance is being sued by the SEC in America. So in my opinion, this is a move for Binance to have the CEO resign to kind of say, hey, we're making changes. We're going in a new direction because they want to make sure they win that SEC lawsuit. So whenever you get a lawsuit, you're always going to have someone heads roll. That's the way it works. When something goes wrong, you have to fire someone. You have to blame someone in business. So I feel like that's why this happened. I feel like they had to make a move. They had to blame somebody. The SEC is trying to sue Binance USA. So they're like, okay, let's have this guy resign. We make him the scapegoat. We make him the fall guy. And then we move on. So that's like my opinion on that. I might be wrong.
Rich,
but what do you guys think? You guys think I got something there or what?
Let me add to what I was saying. You just basically said it right there. The reason why I don't believe it benefits them is because they're doing the common thing. You got to pick on somebody. You got to throw somebody out. It's a tactical move that is miserably going to fail because you're admitting your guilt when you get rid of somebody. So at the end of the day, like I said, it's going to do nothing for them. Promise you.
I was reading that it was layoffs. The reason he left is he got laid off.
But he got laid off to hire another person. Don't make sense.
Can a CEO get laid off anyways?
I mean, let's just go ahead and say the guy was doing a crap job. I mean, they got kicked out of freaking Netherlands. They got kicked out of freaking Canada. They got kicked out of Australia. They don't have any regulatory power anywhere here in the U.S. They don't have regulatory power most of the places that they actually operate. The only way that they do seize regulatory power within any country they do operate is by buying out and monopolizing the cryptocurrency industry there and absorbing those companies by thus for absorbing their regulatory power into the company to operate in that country. And that's what Binance does. And they can't do that here in the US. So they have to figure something else out. The other guy that was in power was doing a crap job at that, obviously. And it was time for him to go. And now we need somebody new. And they're facing an SEC lawsuit. And if you want to gain regulatory power, why not hire somebody who was in the SEC and get the job done? Plain and simple.
Well, also he was in Ripple too. That also is beating the SEC in the fight too. So, I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense. But in the end, like I said, they ain't gonna do nothing for Binance.
They should have
You know, when I
hired
was
Gary Gensler
good.
and just got rid of him.
What was that, Market Maverick?
I said
What'd you
they
say?
should have hired Gary Gensler and just got rid of the guy from the SEC.
A lot of the media that I'm reading up on this, the reason why I couldn't give too much of a comment was because everything that I looked up today was conflicting. Whereas one would say it was a rumor, one would say, this is a legit thing. I think only time is going to be able to tell what's actually really going to happen in this situation.
Okay.
Shady. That's why.
Let's move
That's
on to
why
the
I
next
feel
topic.
this
This
way.
is actually one that Market Maverick brought to our attention. I think this is really interesting news. And I was actually surprised to see this news. So the big news here is that BlackRock has been rumored to shift its crypto focus from Bitcoin to XRP. This kind of shocked me, honestly. And I'll wait till you guys give your opinions before I give mine. But we'll start with you, King Earl. What do you think about this news?
Margaret McAvoy, are you sure you don't work at investing.com?
I do actually, but you know what? That wasn't me. That wasn't me who brought that to your attention. I think that was Earl or
Yeah, that
Cash
was
Cowboy.
me. Yeah, I
Oh,
actually
was it
looked
you,
at it.
Earl, that dropped
Yeah, I'd
that?
looked at it
But I
previously.
was surprised as well. I was happy to
Yeah,
see that. You know me, man.
yeah, I do.
Yeah, I know you love
They
Ripple, right?
already
So
But
own
it's so weird.
10,000 Bitcoin,
I
BlackRock.
assumed it
So
was you. I just
no, I
assumed it
popped
was
it
you.
up the other day, and then I had to look back at the source to make sure that it was coming from a legitimate source. But I mean, I've seen it through them. I've seen a little bit through Bloomberg, but the cards are yet to tell. But the ETFs still haven't been approved, and there's no regulatory power over any of them, so they don't have to seek it through the SEC yet. So I mean, we'll look and see what they have to do. I mean, they're going to have to file the forms either way to get involved. But like I was saying earlier, and Mark Maverick was talking about earlier this week, is some of these companies, especially the larger ones, are going to have to buy Ripple to do the transactions, and all the smaller companies that fall underneath them, like 80% of the S&P 500, will be able to use their Ripple rather than having to purchase their own. So it's like having a liquidity pool there they can just use at any time. So I mean, I see it could potentially be good things for them if they do. As far as the price volatility, I mean, it's going to be there. It's going to provide utility, but it depends on how much they have to buy. There's some warnings out there for the CBDCs. Finally, people clicking on those, but we're going to have to see where it goes and where. I'm not going to count all the eggs before they go in the basket, but I'm definitely going to own XRP just on the left hand side in case they do. But I don't see the price going very much fluctuation except for during the bull season.
Okay. Shady, what's your opinion on this?
Well, I was looking into this, and I actually found out that BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street actually own 88% of S&P 500. So yeah, that's
They
a
own it all.
ridiculous
They
amount.
own everything.
So there's actually a monopoly rule on this. Monopoly rule in the United States is 50% of any business. But from what I was looking into and everything, I think they're just trying to expand, dip their hands in different places. I think this is a strategic move. I think that Bitcoin has definitely held the spot from ever since this really got started. I'd like to see what happens with it for sure. I'd like to see what their plans are.
Okay. Let's go to you, Nash Cowboy. What do you think about this news?
Well, as soon as I heard about BlackRock filing for the Bitcoin ETF, I started thinking that they were also going to invest into XRP heavily. In my opinion, in the future, you're not going to have one without the other. For all kinds of purposes. But that's just my opinion. I think it would be foolish for BlackRock not to go heavy into XRP. I mean, the whole Ripple network, it's really an amazing system when it comes down to it. So, do I think they're going to ditch Bitcoin for XRP? Don't. But I do think that they're going to invest heavily into XRP. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Market Maverick, can't wait to hear your opinion on this. What do you think about this news?
I found a very interesting article. I gotta point my camera on it. Can you guys see it?
No.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty hard to see your screen, but we can see the
You'll,
iPad,
you'll have to read it. It's going to be too
So
small.
or it's your phone. Okay,
XRP,
it just looks really small, so it's hard for us
is
to
that
see.
a mirror? Is it mirrored? Anyways, whatever.
It's mirrored. Yeah, it's backwards.
I'm just gonna skip showing it to you guys. I'm just gonna read it. It's very interesting. It blew my mind just right now. Check this out. So, Wall Street firms back DLT-based systems for alternative. And I got a list of the companies here. It says Apollo, BlackRock, Blackstone, BNY Mellon, Carlyle, KKR, Morgan Stanley, State Street, UBS, Westcap are the first to join the consortium, with iCapital predicting more to follow. So it says here, Wall Street players, including BlackRock and Morgan Stanley, will build a distributed ledger-based system for alternative assets. The partners say that creating a secure, shared, audible record for each alternative investment will augment the efficiency of investment creation, management, and exit processes. So exit processes is basically like a log of transactions. They would need a DLT system for that, and eliminating the need for multiple reconciliations, allowing all the parties in a transaction to read from and write in the same record. Now, I gotta say, guys, RippleNet does just that with its messaging system and its network. So to me, even XLM does that. The thing is, the Federal Reserve doesn't, the HBAR system partner with the Fed, but it doesn't do that integration system. They have to, for example, use DROPS, DROPPS technology in order to use the real-time gross settlement system. And they have a bunch of subsidiary companies all connecting, and it seems always to lead back to RippleNet, unfortunately, for the rest of the world.
Well, when it comes down to it, in the whole crypto world, data is king, and XRP is miles. So people don't realize how old Ripple actually is, and they've had tons of time to come up with all the data necessary for everybody else to grow off of. So the Ripple network ain't going anywhere. It's going to be around forever.
Let's hope.
Blaze, what do you believe? What do you think about this news?
Well, it's a case of faster or more valuable, more tokens, less tokens. You know what I mean? Affordability. You know, everything goes into factor here. Also, I think they're fishing a little bit, and I think they're just letting people know that, you know, if they're putting a focus on XRP, they still always going to have focus on Bitcoin because of the value. So I'm looking at both of them. I think the article is probably misleading. I think they're still targeting on Bitcoin, but XRP makes serious sense with the way that that system works. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that interest in it, seeing that it's doing good against the SEC. So BlackRock is nothing but a big investment company, and they're going to make a move where the money is. You know?
Yeah, I mean, my opinion on this is that Bitcoin is going to always be the big institution's focus because it's considered a commodity. XRP is,
It's an asset.
I would say, the third best coin. I would say Bitcoin is number one, Ethereum is number two, and then XRP. Mainly because XRP's dilution, because there's 50 billion XRP tokens. Bitcoin only has 21 million. Ethereum has 130 million. So when you think about it, there's just so much dilution in XRP. But if you're an institution and you need to use XRP for transactions and for the CBDC, which Earl has touched on and some of you guys touched on, you're probably going to need more tokens so that you can move money around and move trillions of dollars around very easily.
Yeah, that's exactly
so
what I was just saying.
There's going to be a place for XRP on a large scale with all the institutions. I also believe that XRP is the greatest token in the world as far as moving money quickly and affordably. I also believe that XRP is going to be the new coin that will be used for wire transfers or old Swift code, which is very old technology. So Ripple is going to eliminate Swift code. It's going to eliminate old transactional wire transaction business, which has been around for like 100 years and needs to be upgraded. And the only solution, in my opinion, is Ripple. A great example is Nash Cowboy. Last week, you were calling me and messaging me saying, man, I'm sending Bitcoin to my wallet. It's taking a long time. And I'm like, yes, Bitcoin is actually really slow. Whereas if that was Ripple, it would be in your account in like literally
A second.
minutes, sometimes
Could I
seconds.
touch base?
It's so fast, it's so quick, and it doesn't matter how much money you move. Whereas with Bitcoin, it's very congested, it's very slow, and it's not the greatest tool as far as transactions of sending and receiving money. But Bitcoin is the greatest asset in the world when you look at how much it's gone up as far as value as a commodity. There's no commodity in the world that's gone up as much as Bitcoin in the last 14 years. Not gold, not oil, not real estate. Nothing has gone up more than Bitcoin in the last 14 years as far as a commodity. So Bitcoin, in my opinion, is a great asset for a long-term investment, where Ripple is a great asset if you want to send and receive money. And these big banks are going to be wanting to use Ripple to send and receive trillions of dollars quickly, cheaply, and affordably, and in real time. And that's why I believe there is some truth to this, but I don't believe it's like, oh, we're going to forget Bitcoin and we're going to focus on Ripple. I think it's more like we want to own a bunch of Bitcoin and we want to own a bunch of Ripple. And I'm pretty sure you're going to hear that they're going to say that they want to own a bunch of Ethereum too. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys agree with me, disagree with me?
I want to say something on that, if you don't mind. It's about what David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, in 2017, November 21st, he said on Twitter, which got deleted, but not before the screenshots got it. He says, it can't be dirt cheap. That doesn't make any sense. If XRP costs $1, they'd need a million XRP, which would cost $1 million. If XRP costs $1 million, they'd need one XRP, which would again cost $1 million. Then he goes to say, except that the higher prices make payments cheaper. Right now, you can buy $1 million house with Bitcoins. When Bitcoin was $300, it would move the market too much and would be too expensive to be practical. So higher prices make the payments cheaper. This was deleted because it was at 1:14 a.m. and I think he was drunk, spilling the beans.
All right. Anybody else have anything they want to say about this topic before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, I view that
you hit it on the nose, Rich.
Excuse me
I view the Ethereum ETFs will be next. I mean, as soon as they got done talking about the Bitcoin ETF, they started moving directly into the Ethereum ones. But I would say don't put all your eggs in a basket with XRP. Make sure you're looking at all the ISS or all the ISO 2022s because they all have interoperability and ledger technology and cross-border transactions. So I'd say make sure you keep an eye on all of them. Just know your growth potentials on each individual one and how much you can invest, but do your own research through them all. This is not financial advice. Just keep an eye out on them, see what you like, and then go from there.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let me get into the next topic. We got 17 minutes left. We got a couple more topics to go through. So ARM, the ARM IPO. So ARM had an IPO this week. The symbol is ARM, ARM. I talked about it. I told everybody about it. We were all over it. I've been telling investors within our community about it. And I told them it would be a success. Now, I believe it's way overhyped. I believe it's way overhyped. It's overvalued. But I knew it would be a success because we haven't had a lot of IPOs this year. And people are starving to make money in the markets. So the ARM IPO came out. It went up 25% the first day. Kind of came down after that. It's losing a little bit of hype. But the IPO is an AI company. So this has been the year for artificial intelligence. So do you guys think that this ARM IPO is going to be the start of more IPOs? And do you believe that this is going to be a successful company? Because right now it's trading at 100 times revenue, which is extremely overvalued. And as an investor, I look at the fundamentals. So I don't like that. But if you want to ride momentum and went up 25% in a day, you can make a quick 25%. But I don't know where it's going to go from here. So I'd love to know your guys' opinion. What do you think about the ARM IPO? We'll start with you, Earl.
I think that everybody's been itching to invest into something, and as people get more involved with cryptocurrencies and getting in it early, you're going to be looking at this, especially when people don't have an opportunity to actually purchase IPOs here in the U.S. But I mean, IPOs kind of help your business as far as getting it off the ground, but it's going to hurt it for a long time as it recovers because it is way overvalued. Um, and it's way oversold. So I mean, it's got to come down. It's going to hurt the business as it does. It's going to be stagnant for a while until it actually starts producing something that has full utility for the company and a couple of revenue reports. But it's still too young to be told. Its involvement with AI is always good. I mean, as soon as Musk started talking about AI, I mean, you had to look. That was part of the key thing as far as the huge investments into Nvidia. Was Elon Musk had come out and mentioned about his AI company. All the AI stocks took off. All the AI cryptocurrencies started taking off 10 to 30%. So I mean, just the mention of AI is going to help it, but it's got a long way to prove, and it's got a lot of proving ground. But I don't think this is going to be the start of anything. I think it's just going to be the start of people being more involved with getting in early on IPOs, and then like they say in crypto, buy the news and then sell the hype. So that's what it's going to come down to.
Okay, Shady, what's your opinion on this?
I think AI technology is taking off super fast. I think that a lot of people are investing in AI because they think it's going to be like the next cell phone. Like whenever the cell phone came on the market, everybody was buying stocks in Apple, stocks in Android, and I think this is the same scenario. I think that it's too early to really tell what it's going to do, but just the fact that it has an AI company involved in it makes it a very successful company, I think, in the long term. I think that Earl's right. I think it's going to drop and stay there for a while, but I think it's going to come back as we increase the AI technology.
Okay. Nash Cowboy, what's your opinion on this?
Um,
RMIPO.
Well, I try not to invest in anything that's just skyrocketing, although I do make those decisions sometimes. So when something spikes, I try to not let FOMO get a hold of me and wait till it comes down before I invest in it. And I mean, AI is definitely a huge part of our future. You know what I'm saying? So, do I think that the whole situation is a good investment? Probably over a long period of time. But I mean, my advice is don't let FOMO get a hold of you, and the fear of missing out, and don't let it take over your thoughts and jump in on something that could potentially crash before it has time to prove itself.
Okay. I appreciate that. Blaze, what do you think about this RMIPO?
Well, I agree with what Shady says. It's kind of like the next big thing since the cell phone, the artificial intelligence, but it's way overvalued, unlike the cell phone. Okay. And those stocks and stuff like that. So I agree with what you said earlier. If something's overvalued, that's a red flag for me. That means take time, wait it out, and do a lot of investigating before you even make a move. So I like the hype. I like the investment, but I think at this point, until things, stop balancing out and stabilize with a better price or value, I'll just keep looking at it. I'm really not as excited about it as I was, say, when FaceTime came out. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%.
So I'll leave it at that.
Market Maverick, what do you think about this RMIPO?
You know what? This is actually the first time I've heard about it because me in the stock market, Rich. I didn't have a fun time when they locked down the floors, the trading floors, when this virus started and crashed everything. I'm still down, and I will not recover from that. And I stand with Michael Burry, and I can't wait to see his shorts make him profit for that $1.6 billion short on the S&P and the Nasdaq. I'm a fan of these Armageddon situations. I look for that one move, and the biggest move that can happen is the transition in the financial system. So when I see Michael Burry investing in the stock market taking a big crash, especially when it's sitting on neutral and not overpurchased, the S&P and the Nasdaq, when it's on neutral, not overbought. Why are you putting a short on it? He suspects something. I suspect something blindly just because he does. So I'm staying away from all stocks, and that's nothing against anybody in the stock market, but that's just because I have a $10,000 stock that the SEC stood in front of, made it caveat emptor, and then it's worth $2. So fuck the stock market. It pisses me off. Sorry for swearing. It really just stresses me out thinking about that.
Yeah, I'm not heavily
Edit.
involved in this stuff.
Beep.
Well,
Excuse my
listen,
language.
let's go on to the next topic here. So we got a couple more topics left. We got 9 minutes left before we're gonna have to say goodbye. And I know the rest of you guys, I know like me, I want to catch up on some Sunday Night Football.
I was reading that.
This topic is different. This is about aliens. So I don't know if you guys have noticed, but lately they've been pushing aliens on us. Weird, right? All of a sudden, they put out, I don't know if you guys saw this, but this is really bizarre, right? They had a 1,000-year-old alien that they showed in Mexico, and they're saying that this alien was unearthed, and it is a 1,000-year-old alien, and it was unearthed in an algae mine. It looked like this. Bizarre, right? But have you noticed that they've been pushing on this idea that aliens are real?
It looks
They've
like
really been pushing this agenda that aliens are real lately.
that's crazy.
What do you think about this, guys? I'd love to know your opinion. It's obviously way different than everything we talked about today. But King Earl, we'll start with you. What do you think about this?
I think you should take it, at face value right now. There was actually two aliens that was presented at that showing. The guy that actually was on the showing floor and actually doing it was actually involved earlier in like 2018, 2019, showing some stuff from down in Peru, saying it was aliens when it was just an ancient uh, tribe that had been using ropes to elongate the head, and he was involved in that. So you just want to keep, an eye open on it. But more scientific minds need to do the research. There needs to be more science research done on it, and more DNA tests and more looking, because that it has to be proven without a doubt that it's actually a real body by the hands of the science community across the globe, rather than just a Mexican national presentation, that who knows what's happening. So it needs to be globally committed to science and globally studied, and it has to go from there. Keep it in the limelight where they can't just do away with the body and say it never existed, but actually have it fact checked and proven by multiple science committees.
Okay. Shady, what do you think? Are aliens real?
I actually did a lot of research into this one, believe it or not, because I've always been fascinated. I used to watch shows on Bob Lazar and all of that. A lot of people don't know this, but both of those aliens actually came from Cusco, Peru. They weren't actually found in Mexico. That's one thing. The other thing is they did an X-ray on the other one, and one of the two aliens supposedly has 3 eggs in it. Now, when I looked at this X-ray, the first thing I looked at, I was like, okay, does this look as old as the rest of the body? No, it does not. It's like these clear white photos of these eggs inside of it. And that was the second thing that kind of gave me a red flag. The third thing that gave me a red flag was this. They said over 30% of that body was unrecognizable DNA, but they did not talk about the other percent of the body that was recognizable. So for me, I think it's just some smoke and mirrors move. Get your mind on one thing while they're trying to do something else in the background.
Okay. Nash Cowboy, are aliens real?
No, I've said this from the beginning. And even back when COVID started, I said that they're going to start pushing aliens and global warming really hard as soon as this stuff's over with. And sure enough, that's what they're doing. And I think it's 100% smoke and mirrors to take your distraction off of things. Most of the videos that I've seen on this, the cameras look like they were from 20 years ago. And all these people got a shit ton of money. They've got the best cameras out there. I only seen one video on it where it actually had clear, video of these quote unquote aliens. Another thing is, I'm on the creation side of things. Okay. So there is no way that they're going to let whatever scientist examine these bodies, except for they will never let a creation scientist touch them. I guarantee it. They won't do it because the creation science will blow it apart and prove it completely false. So
All
I
right,
don't believe in
Blaze, what do
aliens.
you think about this? Are aliens real,
Okay,
Blaze?
hey, aliens are always going to be real. Okay, they're microscopic. They come from space dust. Fragments hit the ocean, form into other bodies. Yeah, we have aliens. We're not the only living creature in this whole entire universe. But those things are fake. I don't care. I'm calling it out. Okay. The reason why they did that is because USA is being pressured by all the people to show Area 51 and everything. So now Mexico has to come in. Next thing, Russia. And it's a whole big thing to keep us all distracted. They're giving us what we want. We've been bitching for years that we believe that there's aliens that were found in spaceships and stuff. And now they're cracking it out at a time where they need to shut us up and keep us distracted while they rob every one of us. So boo to that. It's negative. It's fake. Aliens don't have bodies and arms like us. Like, just weird stuff going on. I don't agree on any of it. It's a distraction. That's all.
Very interesting. Is it my turn or what's going on here?
Okay, Market
Did we
Maverick,
lose
are
Rich?
aliens real? What do you think
Yeah,
about
it's your turn.
Uh-oh.
We always lose Rich with a couple minutes left. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll just I'll continue
yeah,
while we're
go.
staying here. I think this is the last article. I'll just finish off. Am I next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, you are.
All right.
Bro,
So I
we
want to
touched
say
on a
something.
crazy subject. So if you're in Canada, you might be zapped too.
I'm sure Rich is still watching. We'll respect his channel. We'll end it at 50 minutes for him. So Neil deGrasse Tyson points out a good aspect that we actually have what's inside of the universe within us. He says we are part of the universe. We are in this universe, but perhaps more important than both of these facts is that the universe is within us. Now, personally, in my faith, it talks about multiple worlds with multiple creations scattered throughout the heavens. Who knows what that really means? And microscopic bacteria could be considered aliens, and I'm sure they found water under the surface of the poles of Mars. Who knows what's there? Who knows what's on the moon of Saturn or Jupiter? But I will say, who knows what's on Earth? Because we could only see from one light spectrum 7 different colors. That's the human's light spectrum, the 7 colors of the rainbow. And these 7 colors we can also see through cameras and high-end technology. We can see x-rays, we can see infrareds, we can see so much different aspects of this light perspective. Yet what if the aliens that live in the universe are actually on this earth with us in a different light spectrum, in a different dimension? Because the physicist Miku Kaku, whatever his name is, he says that there could be another dimension on earth looking down on us where they can see us but we can't see them. So who knows if the aliens even have to be out of another planet? Maybe in fact we are the aliens, because we are the ones leaving this planet and taking over other planets, and we are the ones scavenging the universe for iron and materials, talking about expanding to Mars. I think, in fact, we are the aliens. We are the Kryptonians trying to conquer Earth.
I like your point of view too. Everybody's point of view I love. All you guys' opinions, I'm open to everything. This has been a hell of a show. I appreciate all you guys.
Can you guys
Yeah,
hear me
absolutely.
now? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yep, we can hear you. It's up to you now, Rich.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there, but we're having some technical difficulties. It's probably because we have so many people on at the same time, and I've never had this many people on. We're having some technical difficulties, but one more topic. Can you guys see the screen? Biden was indicted on gun
Yes.
charges. What do you guys think
Oh,
about this, King Earl?
this is new.
Let the head start to roll. I mean, the FBI is going to press him. let the phase two start here in November, and let's keep on going from here. We have to get involved into the impeachment of his father, just so we can get investigating authority into the family. And I mean, if that's what it's going to take to crack a few heads at the FBI for not looking into things, I mean, this isn't the first of any troubles. I mean, there's other things that's going to be wrapped up into these charges. He just took the lesser of the evils and he tried getting off on it, but the FBI is not going to let him. And then they're looking at the fact that it was a BB gun. Even if it was fully legal for him, he gets his foot into the prison, and we're going to see where it's going from there. But we need the rest of the investigation into the financial situation and how his father keeps sugarcoating everything and buttercupping him straight into conversations and deals and letting Hunter be the closer.
Okay, Shady, what do you think? We're running out of time, guys, so just be quick right now.
Okay, I'm going to be as quick as possible on this subject. He's got 2 charges that the maximum penalty is 10 years. 1 charge maximum penalty is 5 years when it comes to these federal gun charges. Also, when you look at it, he's looking at technically 25 years maximum, $750,000, you know, as far as like fines and everything else. I think personally that if Trump does not get into the White House in time for us to discover the rest of these things, it's kind of like what the judge did the other day. The judge asked the defense, and they asked him and said, you know, what's actually in this plea deal? And they were basically saying that they didn't want him to be charged for anything else at all. And the DA said, nope, we're not going to do that. And they basically just dropped it right there. That's why he's not going to get a plea deal. They want to be able to bring charges on later, like Earl was talking about. I think Hunter Biden is an absolute disgrace. I think there's going to be multiple charges after this brought forth. But I think that if it gets settled in court before Trump can get to office or before someone else can get to office, then he does have a good chance of getting off on a very, very light pat on the hand.
Okay. Blaze, sorry, Nash Cowboy, what do you think about this?
I'm with Shady on that. I think I think it's gonna be situated in court before anything happens, and he's just gonna get slapped on the hand. That's the way I've seen too much of this go now. However, I do hope that they pull this into something, and him and his dad go down for a lot of things. I think it's smoke and mirrors because it come out right after the Speaker of the House announced that they're going to start impeachment process onto Joe Biden. So they throw this out there to draw people's attention away. That's just my opinion. They're just trying to draw attention somewhere else. And then right after that, out comes this alien
Phone
thing.
died.
And now people are looking at aliens instead of either one of them. So
Nash Cowboy is our community conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I am too.
Blaze,
But,
what do you think about this news?
My opinion about this news is another distraction. He gets in trouble. His dad's the president now. Okay. He can pardon him. He can say bye-bye with the charges if he wants as president, because that's the same as if Trump gets elected. He can wash all his charges too. So at the end of the day, it's just a corrupt frigging government. I don't really care. Every president's son is their own person. It should not reflect on his dad. He's a moron. As far as Biden goes as president, he's messing up. But what his son's doing has nothing to do with him. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm not going to blame what I do on my son or what my son does on me. If anybody ever does that, I'm going to stand up for myself. So at the end of the day, I really don't care what's going on with Hunter Biden. He has nothing to do with our government. He's not the president. He's not the vice president. He's nothing. He's just the son of the president.
Well,
Who
he
cares
did.
what he does? He's a headache.
He did pull his dad into the whole Ukraine deals, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, his father was also being found out as we're going through this.
Yeah, but that's his
has
dad.
relations with
That's
the 20 plus shell companies, and that's a
what
big
Hunter
deal,
Biden
Blaze.
does, hold on. What Hunter Biden does should not affect any of our anything about our country. Nothing. Our reputation, nothing. He has nothing to do with our government. He is the son of the president. That's it. He's a no news nobody to me. I don't really care.
Yeah, but the problem was is that he was using his father's influence to get the deals. But the secondary issue is that he was selling metals that are restricted to China, and he was selling those. that we use with very low vibrations for stealth technology. That's what
Yeah,
his
well,
company was
you know
selling to
what? You know
China.
what you do to
So
a
that's
guy
a
like
government
him?
issue.
You know what you do to a guy like him? You treat him like a civilian that would have done it. Throw him in jail like you do anybody else. He does not deserve to be in the news. He's nothing but a loser. I'm tired of hearing about him.
And I'm glad you
Yep.
said that, because when I looked up these felony charges for these federal charges for these gun felonies, it said whether you have committed a crime with the possessed weapon, or whether you are a first time offender or not, most people get the maximum penalty. That means majority of civilians and citizens get the maximum penalty for first time offense,
Yeah,
whether
we'd
they
be gone
use the
like
weapon
that.
or not.
Any one
Exactly.
of us would be gone like that. Would be gone. Bye. See you later.
So for me, looking at this, if we have the people in the United States are tired of corruption. They're extremely upset about it. We talk about it every day, all day. And if we don't give him time and we don't prosecute this correctly, then there's not going to be very much faith in the government. I think that that's like the 50-50 in it. I think that this is what's going to be the decisive factor in the end. I don't think that he's going to get away with it, but he might. You know what I mean?
Tides are
There's
going to
always
turn,
that slight
Shady.
chance.
Tides are going to turn, guys. Just like Trump said in his long video he just did. He said he's going to make sure, if he becomes president, that they are prosecuted for what they did, like they're trying to do to him.
Right.
He is going to put everything on the table. Hunter Biden will not get away with this crime if Trump becomes president, Kennedy, or DeSantis. That boy is going to pay for his errors. Trust me. And his dad, too.
I hope so.
I love the opinions, guys. We're running out of time, so I want to say goodbye to all of you guys
Salute.
here today. If you guys are new to the show, please go and subscribe to King Earl, Shady, Nash Cowboy, Blaze, and the Market Maverick. Gentlemen, thank you for joining me today.
Much love, guys.
Thank you for having us.
See you
Always
later,
a
guys.
pleasure, guys. These are my
See you next
co-hosts.
week.
Really enjoy you guys on the show. Thank you guys for watching. For everyone that's been watching, that's in the chats, Penny, Rob, Three Pistols, all of you guys that are in the chats, please, thank you for being here. We appreciate you guys and we appreciate your support. Remember, there's always a bull market, there's always a bear market somewhere, and we're going to be the ones to find it, talk about it, and give you your opinions on it. Thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend. Enjoy Sunday Night Football. I'm your host, Rich, from Rich TV Live, with my
Go
co-host
Patriots.
saying, have a nice day, everybody. Don't
Cheers.
forget, we love Bitcoin here, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Peace out.
Peace, guys.